Every iteration of Mortal Kombat has given us some phenomenal yet extremely violent fights, and Mortal Kombat 11 is no exception to this. Building on the success of Mortal Kombat X, the new edition of this popular fighter deals with the events that took place back in 2011 in Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 11 has once again proved that fighting games can have a good story. In fact, the story of this game is nothing short of superb. From top-notch voice acting to strikingly good-looking cutscenes, every chapter of this game's story takes players on a nail-biting journey. In order to keep this review spoiler-free, we will just say that Raiden has finally managed to overdo it with messing with the timelines of the universe. Being hell-bent on protecting the Earthrealm at any cost, his ambition turned him into a dark version of himself who will stop at nothing to achieve his goals. As noble as his intentions may be, Raiden's cruel torment and decapitation of Shinnok awakens Kronika, the Keeper of Time, who decides to completely wipe the current timeline and start anew, but without Raiden. Rewriting history and removing Raiden completely out of existence is the sole goal of this powerful new antagonist and her subordinates. The story is captivatingly interesting, so much so that we could genuinely not wait to beat the enemy in our fight just to see what was going to happen next. A lot of fan-favorite characters make a comeback too, thanks to Kronika's powers, and seeing them remade with the new technology was some seriously delicious icing on the cake. The fighting in Mortal Kombat 11 is as excellent as it has always been. Fans of the series will instantly recognize and be very much accustomed to the way the gameplay feels, as its basics have essentially remained the same with some interesting new changes and additions here and there. For example, the X-ray moves of Mortal Kombat X are no longer present as they have been replaced by fatal blows. This move can be used when a player's health bar gets depleted to 30%, and should it be blocked or dodged, it can be used again after a short period of time. It does a great deal of damage and is definitely a handy skill for clutch situations. All the gruesome fatalities are still very much present, and they are more brutal than they have ever been thanks to the game's fantastic visuals. Those who like Mortal Kombat for its exceptionally violent tone will be more than satisfied with what Mortal Kombat 11 has to offer. We've played the game on PlayStation 4 Pro and we have not experienced a single performance issue. It runs buttery smooth at 60 FPS and the loading times are fairly quick as well. We're also glad to report that unlike a good number of modern day titles, Mortal Kombat 11 does not make our PS4 Pro sound like a jet engine even after hours of constant play. The game offers a variety of game modes players can choose from. There is the standard versus mode where you can take on other players in a couch co-op setting or online, the iconic Towers mode, the Crypt, and an amazingly extensive practice mode that is guaranteed to turn even the biggest of newcomers into highly skilled players if they decide to invest time into what this mode has to offer. The towers are iconic to the Mortal Kombat series, and this iteration of the game brings two different approaches to this mode. The classic towers offers everything fans know and love, including the endless mode known as Survivor. Towers of Time, on the other hand, have fallen into a bit of a controversial zone as their difficulty is frustratingly hard at times, and it is this mode that introduces players to the game's virtual currency system. Each stage in Towers of Time has modifiers that affect every match differently, and in order to beat a certain stage, players are often forced to use a consumable item that will help them reduce or negate the effects of the modifier and thus increase their odds of successfully winning the match. The reason why this mode is sure to divide the game's audience is because the consumable items that are sometimes an absolute must if a certain stage is to be cleared are unlocked via loot boxes scattered throughout the immensely large crypt. Opening these loot boxes costs coins, which is a variety of the game's virtual currency, and more often than not, the loot will not be something that can be used in the Towers of Time. Rather, it'll be something that's essentially useless for gameplay, such as concept art for the game's characters and stages. While earning coins is not exactly the most difficult of tasks, it does present players with a tedious grind, all at the mercy of loot boxes that may or may not make said grind worthwhile. Skipping the grind will, as you can imagine, cost real-life money through microtransactions known as time crystals, and given the fact that the sole presence of the questionable grind is likely to coerce some players to reach for their wallets, really casts an ugly shadow over an otherwise brilliant game. Fortunately though, the consumable items are only good for the Towers of Time mode and cannot be used elsewhere, but it is still an ugly practice in our eyes nonetheless. The visuals of Mortal Kombat 11 are seriously impressive, with character models looking downright fantastic. Featuring the retro skins of some fan-favorite fighters, Mortal Kombat 11 ticks all the right boxes for newcomers and longtime fans of the series alike. Add to this the amazing soundtrack that makes you very much pumped for some gory action of beating your enemies to much more than a mere bloody pump, and the sensational voice acting that brings every cutscene to life, and you've got yourself one absolutely immersive experience with Mortal Kombat 11. With everything said, Mortal Kombat 11 is an absolute must-play for every fan of the genre. Whether you're a hardcore fanatic of Mortal Kombat or just a casual player who likes dynamic fights that can sometimes be a bit out there, Mortal Kombat 11 will more than satisfy your needs. The grind and the ugly paywall behind it do take away from the overall experience, but the numerous game modes, the stunning visuals, and the fighting, the very core of the game, more than make up for the somewhat shady microtransactions practices. We at AltChar give Mortal Kombat 11 a well-deserving 8 out of 10. So that about wraps up our review of Mortal Kombat 11. Let us know your thoughts on this game in the comment section below, and please make sure to head over to AltChar.com for much more content like this. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Sabriel, and see you in the next video.